Hey, welcome to Pilates with Scott. In this routine, we're looking at core strength. Great way to work the six-pack, the love handles, and the lower back area. So let's start relying on the back. Shoulders relax away from the ears, arms relaxed by the sides, lower back flat on the floor. Walk the feet a little further away from the butt. Arms lift up and over. Keep your shoulders in contact with the floor. Keep your ribs pulled down. Take a breath through your nose. As you breathe out, arms lift followed by the head without coming up too high. Inhale to roll back to the start position. So lead with the arms, followed by the head, curling just a little to avoid bulging the belly, hence the breath out here. And as you breathe your nose, roll back into the start position. Trying to keep your lower back supported to the floor, especially on the roll down. So keep your lower back supported as you zip up your belly and surrender back to the start position. So level one being the basic option, again, depending on how your back feels. If you do struggle with this move, option to hold the corners of the mat to help curl the head off the floor. That's a variation of this movement. Taking your time, slower the breath, the slower the movement. Remember, just literally getting the shoulders just off the floor, don't come up too high. Level two, arms and head frame as you curl up, breath out. Keep the arms and head framed as you roll back in, breathe through your nose. Breathing out, curling just enough off the floor to create tension. Try not to bulge the belly. Belly stays fastened as you zip up and roll back to the start position. With the arms lifted, it's like you're holding a ball between your hands. Try to relax your shoulders. Very easy to tense at the shoulders, which is going to involve tensing and stressing into the neck. So if you do feel pretty tight, go wider with the arms to make it a little easier for the shoulders. Curling just enough off the floor with the shoulders to create the tension in the abdomen. This is a little bit too much. Come back to the first level to keep it simplified for the stomach and the lower back. Level 3, throwing ball. We curl off the floor, breath out, pause, take a breath through your nose, exhale to throw forwards without lifting upwards, inhale to roll back to the start. So peeling just off the floor to create tension, pause on the breath in, exhale to throw without coming up to a seated lifted position, and then just roll back to the start position. So when we throw the ball, it's forwards and outwards as opposed to rolling back and projecting forwards. So peeling off, pause, hold, breathe in, throw forwards from here. Very easy to roll back to then throw forwards. So trying to keep your lower back supported to the floor as we hold. Inhale, ribcage, exhale, project forwards without coming up all the way up. Just keeping that tension, that resistance in the stomach throughout. Now again, if this is a little bit too much for some, then come back to the previous level or keep it to the very first level if need be. Once you've finished, arm circles round, bring the feet in. Flatten your back to the floor, so make sure your back stays flat on the floor. Right leg pulls in, left leg pulls in, knees together, feet together. Take your time. As you breathe through your nose, thigh pulls towards the belly, so maybe the tail is lifting a little off the floor. Flex the feet, push the heel down, pull the belly down, keep your back down. Now if this is too much for your back, follow the top left hand corner. Small pelvic lift, roll back to the start position. So it's a tiny tilt and lift for the pelvis, and then surrender back to the start position. Otherwise, it's trying to keep the arms resting by the sides without using the arms. Inhale, pulling in like you're squeezing a light ball between thigh and belly. Drive through the heel to the floor without arching the back. So inhale, pull in, flex your toes in, maybe the butt lifts. Exhale, push the heel down, keep your belly down without tensing shoulders. So when we try to draw the thigh to the belly, maybe the butt lifts, maybe it doesn't. Don't look for it, it either happens or it doesn't. It's squeezing a squidgy ball between thigh and belly. Push the heel down, keep your belly down, and only take the feet as far as it feels comfortable. Level 2, as we press the heel down, so you can try and lever the legs out a little further for more resistance for the stomach. If you feel your back is arching, this level might be a little bit too much for you, so stick with the first level. So breathing in, slide the feet in, thigh to belly, flex the feet, breathe your mouth to push down and push out. Pulling in, maybe the tail curls a little off the floor, maybe nothing. Driving down, fasten the belly, try to avoid your back arching. From here, roll onto the side. This one's in a side body twist, great one for the obliques, the love handles. So stacking up the feet, stack up the hips, lying on the side. Inhale, pick up the ends, bottom leg lifts the top leg. Exhale, we fall back, bend the legs in, bring yourself up to a seated V position. Arm goes back, turn towards me, bounce on the hip, lengthen out, come back to the start position. Try it again. So your bottom leg elevates the top leg. Roll the hip back to a seated position, knees pull in, chest lifts tall, relax your shoulders. Hand behind, bounce on the hip and lengthen out. If you are struggling, copying the top example if you need to. Use the hands for extra support. Option, use the hands to try and pull yourself up. We turn first, bounce on the hip second, then lengthen out on the floor third. Level 2, keeping straight legs throughout if you can. So as we roll onto the hip, can we keep straight legs, be lifted with the chest, arm back, bounce on the hip, lengthen out to the start position. Every move of breath, inhale to taper the ends off the floor, exhale, fall back, lift up with straight legs, and if you're feeling pain in your lower back, I would suggest stick with the bent leg option for extra support. Depends how slouchy you are in the spine. Really feel anchored through the sit bones. Just trying to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Nice rotation for the spine, as well as working into the obliques, the sides, the love handles. Once you're finished, roll onto the front, coming up into all fours. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, back in a neutral position. From here, be steady in both hands, right leg slides back, tuck under the toes, steady the pelvis and match left leg with right leg. Picking up, right leg, point your toes. Breathe out to round, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen back to single leg plank. Top corner is an easier option. So if it's a little too much for the wrists, take the knees to the floor to make it easier for the wrists and the shoulders. Otherwise, full plank with lengthened leg, a lot more challenging for the upper body. Bit of mobility for the spine. Try not to sink into the shoulders. Once you've done one side, same thing other side. We hover leg without dropping belly. Breathe out to round. Inhale through your nose to lengthen out your leg. Lift and round, pressing palms into floor to create that extra lift. So pushing palms into floor to try and encourage the upper body to lift. Then lengthen out, trying to create that natural groove in your spine. A bit like the cat stretch, think about rounding the back as you crunch in. Lengthen out your spine to neutral as you lengthen leg back out. Next, to strengthen the upper body. Great one for the core muscles, as with any other plank. Front plank, side plank, or reverse tabletop, for example. Child pose, nice release for the lower back, nice release for the wrists. Once you've done one side, we change and do the same thing on the opposite side. So side body twist, starting with the level 1 to begin with. So stack up, shoulder, hip, feet in a straight line. Feet stacked, hips stacked. Breathe your nose. Bottom leg elevates off the floor. Peel the head off the arm. As you breathe out, fall back, bend your legs in to pull yourself up to a seated teaser position. Arm drops back, turn from the waist, and then lengthen out. So either walk the hand out or slide the hand out, depends on how slippy your hands are, how slippy the floor is. So hovering, breathing in, exhale, roll back, lift up to seated teaser position. Use the hands for extra help if you need to. Arm goes back, turn the waist, bounce on the hip, and lengthen out, start position. So remember, bending legs in helps to drawbridge yourself in. So if you do have issues with the back, this might be as far as you want to take this move. If your back is being affected with this particular move, you might need to miss this one out altogether. Level 2, straight legs. More of a challenge for the midsection. If you're feeling you're slouching your spine, again, I would go back to the first level, bent legs to make it easier. Bottom leg lifts, top leg breath in, rock back, lift tall, shoulders back, eye gaze forwards. Arm goes behind, rock onto the hip, and then roll onto the side. Nice one for the internal, external obliques. Nice mobility for the hip joint also. Once you've finished, roll onto the back. Hug the legs in, hands to shins to release the spine. For more information on Pilates, check out my website, pilateswithscott.com. Thank you.